The moment the door opened, I knew this simple errand was about to become something I would never forget. I had driven across town with a cardboard box sitting quietly on the passenger seat beside me. Inside it were the small, forgotten pieces of a relationship that had once meant everything to me: books with folded pages, a hoodie she had borrowed during winter, a few old photos, and the necklace she once told me she would never take off. But life has a strange way of proving promises wrong. Relationships break, hearts heal slowly, and eventually people move on. That night, I thought I was simply closing a chapter. But when the door opened, standing there was not my ex. It was her mother, wrapped only in a towel, her hair still damp from a shower, clearly not expecting any visitors. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. The hallway light behind her cast a soft glow around her silhouette, and the warm air from inside the house drifted out into the cool evening. I instantly looked down, embarrassed and unsure whether to speak or just apologize and leave. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances in life, take a moment to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that even the most awkward or painful moments can lead to something meaningful. At that moment, though, none of that crossed my mind. All I felt was the heavy weight of the past sitting inside that cardboard box. The truth was, coming here had taken more courage than I wanted to admit. My relationship with my ex hadn't ended in some dramatic explosion. There had been no screaming, no slammed doors, no betrayal. Instead, it ended quietly, painfully, and slowly, like watching a candle burn down until the flame finally disappears. We had simply grown apart. She wanted a life that moved fast, full of excitement and change. I wanted something calmer, something steady. Somewhere along the way, our paths quietly separated without either of us realizing it until it was too late. So I packed her things and told myself that returning them would give me closure. Standing there on the porch, I suddenly felt like that closure might not be as simple as I thought. Her mother looked surprised at first, but then recognition crossed her face. She gently adjusted the towel around her shoulders and offered a polite, slightly awkward smile. I could feel my ears turning red as I held up the box, explaining why I had come. She stepped aside and motioned for me to come inside while she quickly grabbed a robe. The house felt strangely familiar as I walked in. I had been here many times before: family dinners, birthday celebrations, quiet evenings watching movies. Back then, I had always imagined that one day this house might feel like a second home. Now it felt like walking through a memory. The hallway smelled faintly of lavender and fresh laundry. The same framed photos lined the walls: family vacations, graduation pictures, moments frozen in time. Seeing them made something in my chest tighten. Her mother returned a moment later, now wrapped in a soft robe. She thanked me for bringing the box and placed it carefully on the table. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of rushing me out or calling her daughter to come get her belongings, she simply sat down across from me and asked how I had been. It was such a simple question. And yet, for some reason, it caught me completely off guard. Most people, after a breakup, disappear from each other's lives completely. Friends take sides. Families grow distant. Conversations stop. But here she was, genuinely asking about my life as if I still mattered. At first, I gave the usual answers. I said I was doing fine. I told her work had been busy. I pretended everything was moving forward the way it was supposed to. But something about the quiet warmth in her eyes made it hard to keep pretending. The truth was, the past few months had been rough. Losing the relationship had left a space in my life that I didn't know how to fill. Nights felt longer. Weekends felt emptier. I found myself driving past places we used to go, remembering moments that now felt like they belonged to someone else's life. She listened patiently as I spoke, never interrupting, never judging. Sometimes people underestimate the power of simply being heard. That evening, sitting in that quiet living room, I realized how rare that kind of kindness really is. Eventually she spoke about her daughter as well, not with anger or blame, but with understanding. She admitted that sometimes people grow in different directions, and that it doesn't make either person the villain of the story. Her words carried a calm wisdom that made the whole situation feel less heavy. Before I left, she thanked me again for bringing the box. But what surprised me most was what she said next. She told me that no matter how things had ended, she had always thought I was a good person. She said she hoped life would bring me happiness, even if that happiness came from a different path than the one I had once imagined. Walking back to my car that night, I felt something inside me shift. For months, I had been carrying around quiet guilt, wondering if I had somehow failed, if the relationship ending meant I wasn't good enough. But hearing those words gave me something I hadn't realized I needed. Peace. Over the following weeks, life slowly began to change in small ways. I started focusing more on myself, on work, on old hobbies I had forgotten about, on reconnecting with friends I hadn't seen in a long time. Healing didn't happen overnight. But little by little, the heavy feeling in my chest started to fade. Sometimes closure doesn't come from dramatic endings or final conversations with the person you lost. Sometimes it comes from unexpected moments, like standing awkwardly on a doorstep with a cardboard box, realizing that kindness still exists even after things fall apart. Months later, I happened to run into her mother again at a small neighborhood cafe. This time there were no towels, no awkward surprises, just a warm smile and a simple greeting. We talked for a while about life, about how things had been going, about the strange way time slowly heals wounds that once felt impossible to overcome. And as I walked away from that cafe, I realized something important. The relationship I lost had once felt like the end of my story. But in reality, it had simply been the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where I learned that heartbreak doesn't have to turn people bitter. Sometimes it teaches them compassion. Before we finish this story, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had an awkward or unexpected moment that ended up changing your life in a good way? Leave a comment below and share your experience. Because stories like these remind us that life rarely follows the path we expect. But sometimes the detours lead us exactly where we need to go. And if this story touched your heart even a little, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories about life, love, and second chances. You never know when a simple moment, or a simple act of kindness, might change someone's life forever.